Welcome. My name is Key Allen, and this is a place to slow down, breathe, and look again at the Lord Jesus. Today we're exploring the Son of David and the Son of Man, the King who came for us. When the New Testament calls the Lord Jesus the Son of David, it's not just giving us a genealogical detail. It's announcing something enormous, something every Jewish listener in the first century would have understood immediately. That title meant Messiah. It meant deliverer. It meant the one God had promised for 1,000 years. And it meant that all the ancient promises spoken to David were finally coming true in a single person. But the question naturally rises, how could the Lord Jesus be the son of David when David lived a millennium earlier? The answer is woven into the story God had been writing long before Bethlehem. In 2 Samuel 7, God promised David that one of his descendants would sit on his throne forever, a king whose kingdom would never end. That promise became the heartbeat of Israel's hope. Every generation looked for that son. Every prophet pointed toward him. Every psalm whispered his name. And when the Lord Jesus came, the gospel writers made sure no one missed the connection. Matthew opens his gospel by tracing his legal lineage through Joseph straight back to David in Matthew 1. Luke traces his bloodline through Mary, also back to David in Luke 3. By adoption and by birth, the Lord Jesus stood in David's line. As Paul later wrote, as to his earthly life, he was a descendant of David. But the title Son of David meant far more than ancestry. It was a declaration of identity. When people cried out to him using that title, they weren't being poetic. They were confessing their faith that he was the promised Messiah. You see, in the woman whose daughter was tormented by a demon, she cried, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me." She recognized in him the authority of heaven. You see it in the two blind men sitting by the road, calling out with urgency, "Son of David, have mercy on us." They saw what the religious experts refused to see, that the Messiah was standing right in front of them. And that's what made the Pharisees so angry. They understood exactly what the crowds meant when they used that title. They knew the scriptures. They knew the promises. They knew the Messiah would come from David's line. But instead of rejoicing, they hardened their hearts. Pride blinded them. The very title that should have filled them with hope filled them with rage. They plotted to destroy the one they had supposedly been waiting for. But the Lord Jesus didn't let their blindness go unchallenged. He asked them a question that silenced them completely. He said, "How is it that the Messiah is the son of David, when David himself calls him my Lord?" He was quoting Psalm 110, a psalm every Jewish teacher knew by heart. David calls the Messiah my Lord, which means the Messiah must be greater than David, older than David, higher than David, more than a man. And that's the mystery the Lord Jesus was revealing. He wasn't just David's descendant. He was David's Lord. He wasn't just the offspring of David. He was the root of David. He could say, "I am the root and the offspring of David" in Revelation 22, because only the Son of God made flesh could be both the one who created David and the one who came through David's line. This is where the title Son of Man helps us see the full picture. The Lord Jesus used that title for himself more than any other. It spoke of his humanity, that he came in the flesh, that he walked among us, that he entered our world as one of us. But it also spoke of his deity. In Daniel 7, the Son of Man is the one who comes with the clouds of heaven, who receives glory, dominion, and an everlasting kingdom. When the Lord Jesus called himself the Son of Man, he was claiming that prophecy for himself. That's why he could forgive sins. That's why he could declare himself Lord of the Sabbath. That's why he could say he would rise from the dead. That's why he could say he would judge the world. And that's why, standing before the high priest, he said, "You will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power and coming on the clouds of heaven." They tore their robes because they knew exactly what he meant. He was claiming the throne of heaven. He was claiming to be God. So when we call him the Son of David, we're not just saying he fulfills a family tree. We're saying he fulfills every promise God ever made. We're saying he is the rightful king, the long-awaited Messiah, the one who brings mercy to the desperate and sight to the blind. We're saying the throne of David has found its eternal occupant. And when we call him the Son of Man, we're saying he is the one who stepped down from glory, took on flesh, walked among us, suffered for us, and yet remained the one to whom all authority in heaven and on earth belongs. The Son of David has come. The Son of Man has come, and his kingdom will never end. If this message helped you today, take a moment to like and subscribe. May the peace of the Lord Jesus guide you through the week ahead.